I'm still, battling with my lichen sclerosus. I am nowhere near perfect, but I am here to live a extraordinary life, to feel the best that I could ever feel, even though I live with lichen sclerosus. Welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it, and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I'm very happy that you are here, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast. I am so happy, as always, that you are here today. I hope that you are having a great day. It's funny, every time I start recording, it's kind of like it sounds the same every episode. As soon as I hit record, I'm like, I need to say it in a different tone. I need to come up with something different. But then I'm like, no, it's my signature. It's my signature thing. Welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. I'm very happy that you are here today. So thank you for being here. Today, first off, I'm trying to figure out the podcast set. What are we doing here? So, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, I have a gray wall behind me. I do not know what to do with this wall, but this gray wall right here does not feel very Penny-esque. I need something that is more Penny-esque to go in the podcast setup. So, I don't really know what to do about that. I want to put either a vulva or something like vulva-esque. I don't know why I'm calling everything that right now. Vulva-esque on the background here, or something with words. I got this really cute bag a while ago, and it's a poetry bag, so it was poetry written on the bag. And they had that so you could hang it on the wall too, but it had a little bit of a hole in it, the material that it was on. And I didn't even like that, but it was so pretty. So I might look into that again. I'm going to read you the poetry back. Give me one moment. Because I just love this, and I thought that you might too. It's absolutely beautiful. As if the lines on my face could ever be more important than the reasons I've smiled. As if the marks stretched across my hips like orange on the horizon could ever be more important than my inner growth. And you flip it around so you continue to read so you won't misread the poetry. As if my body is yours to discuss, commodify, objectify. As if you could hold any power over me. As if my external beauty is more valuable than the heart that it holds. When I read this, I started crying because I thought it was really beautiful. And they had that poem that you can put on the wall too, but it wasn't really to my liking the way that it was presented. So I'm like, I'm not gonna take that, but I might look into that poem again. I thought it was really nice. But if you have any ideas on what I can hang on my wall behind me, like as you can see, I have a little teeny tiny vulva over there. Besides that, I don't have anything on my walls. And I'm very mindful of the things that I do put in my condo, things that come into my condo. We know this by now. Pink, purple, glittery, sparkling, fun. If it doesn't bring me joy or make me feel something, I don't want it in my condo. So I'm just being very mindful of the things that I do want to put on my walls, but I've been living here for a year now. So if you have any suggestions of anything that will be Penny-esque, then let me know because I would love to know. So let's dive into today's podcast episode. Today, I'm going to guide you through my daily lichen sclerosus routine. It's not really daily. I didn't really make a list, but these are the things that I do for my lichen sclerosus. I hope that I cover them all. If I do not, maybe there will be another episode in the future. Because yes, it's probably going to change with what I'm doing for my lichen sclerosus. But let's dive into what I'm doing for my lichen sclerosus right now and how I am supporting my lichen sclerosus. Keep in mind, I have lived with lichen sclerosus for almost 17 years. I cannot say that I've ever been in some sort of major remission. It might be a couple of days where I'm not going through any tears. And I know that many of you relate to this because we tear, we itch, we go through things, and then we feel kind of like hopeless if we're not seeing the remission that everyone else is going through. And the way that I work with my lichen sclerosus, since I'm still tearing, since I'm still going through pain, I support my lichen sclerosus on several different levels because to me, that is super important. To me, mental strength and emotional strength also helps with my lichen sclerosus. There are so many different factors that play into this and so many different ways to look at it, as I always say. So just keep that in mind. Whatever I'm sharing today, take what resonates, leave the rest. And I'm still in pain. I'm still, battling with my lichen sclerosus. I am nowhere near perfect, but I am here to live a extraordinary life, to feel the best that I could ever feel, even though I live with lichen sclerosus. So who am I to actually give you advice on when it comes to living with lichen sclerosus? You may ask yourself if I've never been in remission, but this is how I live my life and I know how I want to feel. And the people that you take advice from or the people that you may be looking up to in this space, let them help you in several different ways. And I'm not just talking about myself, but I'm also talking about the networks that you join or the Facebook groups that you join. I am not really, I am in the Facebook groups, but I don't really participate in them. I find them to be quite fear mongering. Does that make sense? I think that's the word I'm looking for. And also somewhat negative sometimes. And I do not want to spend time in that energy for myself, for my own healing. I want to spend time focusing on feeling better, on inviting in the energy that I want to see in my life and how I want to feel in what is in aligned with me. So I just went and got all of my things that I may need to show you today. And I might be forgetting some things. There might be a little bit jumping back and forth, but I feel like it will follow the red thread of what I do for my lichen sclerosus. What I do for my lichen sclerosus. I don't want to say daily, but these are things that I do for my lichen sclerosus. So, first things first, people always ask about what kind of treatment that I'm on. I am on treatment for lichen sclerosus because it is important. It is important to be on treatment because you want to lower the inflammation. You want to decrease the risk of vulvar cancer. So right now the treatment that I am on is, let's see here, if I even know how to say it. Betamethasone. I think that's how you say it. Betamethasone is the one that I am on. I have tried the clobetasol, very much used, yes. And then I was also on Hydroval for a while. This was what my dermatology recommended. So I did clobetasol with my gynecologist. Then she sent me to a dermatologist and he said to stop use that one. And I'm going to use Hydroval instead, which is a hydrocortisone. And then I went back to my gynecologist and she said, "Did he do an examination on you?" I'm like, "No." Okay, go back onto the steroid. But then we were thinking maybe we'll try the betamethasone instead. So I've been on this one for, what could it be? It's probably 2, 3 months. I've been on it for 2, 3 months. And I use this one 2 to 3 times per week. So almost every other day. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm using as my treatment for my lichen sclerosus. Now, when I'm also working with the treatment, I'm also using my moisturizer. I've spoken about this one before, Iris moisturizer. I'm obsessed with this moisturizer. So I've always find that moisturizer they kind of work for a little bit and then they do not work. So you give it a go and then they kind of stop working. With this one, I've used this one for maybe eight months now, I think. And I'm actually obsessed with it. It has jojoba, vitamin D, and hyaluronic acid in it. And I know that many of us, we use either of those on our lichen sclerosus. So we've combined them all, put them in this moisturizer, and I'm obsessed with this moisturizer. Now, I haven't put that on since yesterday when I had a shower. I put it on after my shower, either put it on in the morning or after my shower. And then I haven't put it on this morning and I have not had a tear so far yet today. I can feel a little bit of stinging coming on, to be fair, or to be honest, but I woke up this morning and I was lying in bed and I was like, oh, I don't feel a tear today. Usually I feel a tear when I wake up in the morning. So that was a nice little surprise there and just a little bit of relief for myself. So those are things that I put on topically. And then I also use private packs. I've spoken about these before. So this is your private pack. It comes with this little sleeve that you put it in, and then you can just wear it in your underwear. So it kind of attaches to your underwear, and I love it. So this has been in the freezer. It's kind of icy. And it's really handy because no one will know that you're wearing it. And it feels really soothing for my tears, and that can be really nice if you have an itch as well. And when it comes to my lichen sclerosus, so like this morning, for example, I woke up, I felt myself not having a tear. Then I'm being more mindful of what am I doing actually with my pelvic floor. So this is what I teach yoga for. But when I have a tear, my pelvic floor is pulling away from that tear. I'm clenching my pelvic floor. So when I do not have a tear, I'm paying a little bit more extra attention to that part of my body. Am I holding on out of fear for a potential flare? Can I maybe perhaps gently let it go? And maybe that's hard to grasp that concept, especially if you're just standing around. But I was making breakfast this morning and I sent some awareness to my pelvic floor and I was like, okay, well, I'm gripping right now. And also, that's also stress response, me gripping. If I'm stressed in life, if I'm going through stressful situations, I start to grip. So that's a thing that we tend to do as human beings. We hold tension into certain or onto in certain body parts, like our shoulders, our jaw, pelvic floor, belly, things like that. So, okay, why am I gripping? Can I gently let it go? And this is something that you can practice just lying down. So if you wake up in the morning. And before you're even going on about your day, checking in with your lichen sclerosus, okay, I cannot feel pain right now. I cannot feel any discomfort. Am I right now perhaps clenching my pelvic floor? And if you don't know that that's completely fine because this takes practice too. But I know that many of you have practiced pelvic floor yoga with me before. So just pay some attention to, okay, am I actually gripping right now? Is there any way that I can gently let it go? And then also, as you're asking yourself this question, can I relax my pelvic floor? Is that, again, a hard thing for you to grasp? How do I even do that? Then you can start with inviting in movement. And this is where our work together comes in. But you're already in the space, you're doing the work, and that's so amazing. I'm so happy for you. So just being aware of that as well. Then I'm very mindful of the underwear that I use for my lichen sclerosus, obviously. My underwear is super important. I cannot wear anything synthetic or anything with the weird little seam in the middle. Ooh, you know those really sexy underwear that are supposedly sexy, but you know the lace sexiness that you, when you were a teenager, you wanted to wear them because you thought that that's what you're supposed to be wearing. Just thinking of them hurts my vulva. I'm like, I cannot, not whatsoever. And then they also have a hard seam on top of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. So I'm very mindful of the vulva or of the underwear that I use or that I wear for my vulva. Also, side note, I am right now in my luteal phase. I'm gonna get my period this week. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm just annoyed with everything. I'm like, my skin is itching. I'm not feeling like myself in my body right now. So I'm just taking some time in between when I'm talking to just recenter myself a little bit because I get really annoyed. I'm like the cord gets stuck in the wrong way and I'm like, "Oh my God." So I'm just taking some extra time just to breathe and to just land for a little bit and then I continue on talking. So I am mindful of the underwear that I do wear. I try to be as comfy as possible, but also you can be comfy and look hot at the same time. You can feel hot while looking comfy. I'm wearing these white pants right now. I actually got them from a friend. And they're super comfy, but they also make me feel kind of stylish a little bit. I don't usually wear a lot of white, especially not white pants. But I like these pants. They kind of make me feel stylish. And then I have a little sock that I put to it, and I just think it's really cute. So just be mindful of the underwear, anything that is directly like in contact with my lichen sclerosus. I'm aware of that. I take baths weekly, once or twice per week for my lichen sclerosus. I know that some people say that, oh, my doctor has said that we should not take baths, la la la. And of course, you should listen to your doctor, but I don't have a problem with this. And I also know that when I've been listening to podcasts with other healthcare professionals that specialize in lichen sclerosus or vulvar specialists, they say that you can have a bath before applying your steroid ointment to increase the absorption of the steroid ointment. And I'm actually going to link that in the podcast notes to one of the latest podcasts or YouTube videos from Lichen Sclerosis Support Network with Dr. Jill Kraft. And she's talking about for some people, it might be beneficial to have a bath beforehand because it kind of softens the skin and the absorption gets better into the skin. But some people do not need that because their lichen sclerosus isn't as severe. So it's completely up to you. But I'm going to link that in the show notes too. She's also talking about how to apply your steroid ointment and not just like lather it on there, but also just like being mindful of rubbing it into the skin so you're not just putting on like a band-aid, if that makes sense. Other things that I do from lichen sclerosus when I'm not wearing pants, I wear long skirts, I wear long dresses, especially in the summer. I've spoken about this so many times, but also when I'm at home, wearing a long skirt, that is super nice. Everything is just, flowing, everything is breathing, everything is lovely. Then I also sleep without underwear on. And I've gotten these comments on TikTok and Instagram because like the content that I post is kind of out there and some people cannot relate, which I'm totally fine with. But people are like, "Oh, don't you get the steroid on the sheets or get your moisturizer on the sheets?" And I've like it's never even actually crossed my mind that I would. And I'm like, even if I do get my steroid on the sheets, okay, I haven't noticed anything. Maybe I'm just like not splaying with my legs as much. I don't know. But also, if you're massaging the steroid into the skin, like it's not just a white cream on top of your vulva, it's massaged into the skin. So yeah, it's still like sticky on top. You can tell that you put the steroid on top. But I don't see any stains on my sheets. And also, if I were to get stains, it's not the end of the world. I can just get new sheets. Like, it comes to the point where in your healing, you make a choice about what you care about the most. And I want to feel the best I can in my body and my being. And then I might have to sacrifice something else, like buying more sheets more frequently or whatever that may be. So it depends on how you look at it. Or someone was asking me, I posted a video of doing like cirrhosis in bed without underwear wrapped in a blanket. And someone was like, "So you're just rubbing your chocolate starfish all over that?" And keep in mind, this video went viral and it had like 4 million views. And I just wanted to be like, if you have that issue, I'm sorry to hear that, but also go see a pelvic physio. Like, I'm just like, I just wanted to slap something back, but then I was like, no, it's not worth my time. But it's just funny, these comments, how people really think about everything. But I sleep without underwear. I I'm very mindful of that. I walk around naked without underwear. But now as we're hitting winter, snow just arrived in Canada yesterday. It's getting cold out. I'm wearing long skirts and I put on thick socks and I just like waltz myself around and I just love it. It's absolutely fantastic. One thing that I really do for my lichen sclerosus is stress management, regulate my nervous system. And we hear this a lot and we think that we're doing it, but are we actually doing it? Like keep in mind, I'm a yoga teacher and I can feel sometimes that I need to do extra work on my nervous system regulation because we live in a society that is really stressful on so many different levels when it comes to what we're going through personally within our body and in our lives that relates to us, and then in relationship to other people, what we're going through them, the stress from that, and the family that you did not choose, and the parents that you may have, or you ended up becoming friends with someone that isn't really working out for you, or you're working a job that's just really shitty, or the stress from what's going on in the actual world, the environment, politics. Like there's so many different things that can cause stress within the system. And I think it's important to continue to do that work. Like there's never going to be an ending to the work that you're doing. They always say like enjoy the journey, and I feel like that's so true when it comes to life and how we look at it. Because like right now, I live with lichen sclerosus. Right now, that's a chronic inflammatory skin condition. I'm gonna have that forever. And I know that this might be hard for some of you to hear, but I've done so much mindset work on this piece. And yes, some days I just get fucking frustrated and I get angry, and especially my luteal phase, because I you feel so stuck in it in a sense, but also I want to make the journey pleasurable. There's not going to be an end destination for me when it comes to my lichen sclerosus. Probably. I'm saying probably. Like this is something that I'm going to be living with even if I go into remission or not. But also if I do go into remission, I'm in remission for years, weeks, whatever that may be. It's still a journey that I'm on. It's a part of the journey. And I still want to support myself. I'm not going to stop supporting myself and my nervous system, my body, and what I need. So continue to doing nervous system work. So when I'm having a bath, for example, I take with me a book that I find that I enjoy, or I just lie there and I focus on my breath. And sometimes I feel like we get so easily bored. And it's one of the most important things. I saw a TikTok about this. He was like, do you want to regulate your nervous system? Sit here with me for 2 minutes and be bored. Be bored with me for 2 minutes. And that is so true. It's the same when you throw your legs up the wall and you're gonna lie there and you're like, oh my God, I'm so bored. What am I doing? I'm going out of my mind. I'm just gonna scroll as I'm doing this. But just regulating your nervous system takes a lot of work. Because regulating your nervous system, it's not just about being parasympathetic in the rest and digest state. We're always going to come into that fight or flight. But regulating your nervous system is about riding the wave and coming back to base neutral. But if we are continuously riding that wave up in fight or flight and we can't drop back down, that's when it becomes an issue. So you want to be able to tackle those little waves that you are going through. And how do you do that? You become more resilient, you do more nervous system work so that you can bring yourself back to that baseline that you need to go to. So we continue to do the work because it's super important for our lichen sclerosus, for our pelvic health, for our overall well-being. Just looking at yourself, like sometimes I look at myself in the mirror, I can almost see, like I'm definitely feeling it, but I can almost see on my body that I'm dysregulated. Like the body are we're so complex and we're so interesting, but it's so much work. It's so much work, but also make it fun. It's a part of the journey. And this is also why I created the pelvic relief bingo cards that we do have monthly that you can get for free. I was talking to one of my students the other day and she's like, I love that you made them so easy, but also are they? Like when you think about it, you actually have to put in the work. And for someone that is really stuck in the fight or flight or freeze and can't really find a way to support themselves, then that can be really hard. But also, I made them intentionally, quote unquote, easy because I wanted to be easy for you to support yourself every day for pelvic relief. And also make it easy for you to regulate your nervous system, like going for a 10-minute morning walk. Can you do so without scrolling on your phone at the same time? Can you do so looking around, saying hi to people? Co-regulate with other people. Or put your legs up the wall. We're back at it, baby. Or put yourself in a child's pose with a heating pad on your back. Things like that to regulate yourself, your nervous system, to just land in your beautiful body and your beautiful being. So when it comes to my lichen sclerosus, there are many things that I do for my lichen sclerosus, but not many things that many other people may look at. It's not something to do with my lichen sclerosus, but I'm doing things to support my lichen sclerosus on several levels. When we're looking at the treatment and the moisturizer and the private packs and the underwear, it's very physical, but there's other things that I'm doing to regulate my nervous system to support myself. And also when it comes to like practicing your pelvic floor yoga and doing myofascial release work, which we do in the membership as well. In a couple episodes ago, I was talking about relaxing your belly and how how do you find that sucking your belly in may be impacting your lichen sclerosus because it's in the skin, right? And the superficial fascia, if you're tensing that part of your body, you're pulling on the superficial layer of fascia. So we were doing abdominal rolling last week, and I invited my students to see as they were doing the abdominal rolling, we were rolling the lower part of our belly. Are they noticing anything in their vulva? Like anything at all? It's like small things like that too, and just like focusing in on, okay, what are the sensations that are arising when I'm doing this work physically, but it's also mentally, emotionally, energetically, you're supporting your nervous system, you're doing so much great work for yourself. And it's not just physical, it's so much more than that. Until next time, I hope that you look after your beautiful vulva. This is all that I have for you today. If you have any questions, reach out to me, send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this podcast episode, I would very much appreciate it if you can give me a 5-star rating and a review because I love to see them. And it just helps the podcast grow and reach people that may need the support. So you'll be helping someone else. I appreciate you and I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Bye.